If you believe the stories, mankind's pride gave rise to the Darkspawn. Countless in number and toxic to all life, Darkspawn search endlessly for an archdemon. When they find one, Darkspawn armies surge up from their corrupt barrows beneath the ground, and a blight begins. Grey Wardens are the only warriors capable of destroying an archdemon, and history always honors the one who sacrifices all to kill the beast. In the fifth blight, the Warden was the hero of Ferelden, a hunter from a clan of Dalish elves. The hero discovered a corrupted elven artifact and was tainted by the same foul magic that drives the Darkspawn. The only cure for the young elf was to join Duncan as a Grey Warden. The allied Ferelden and Grey Warden forces met in Ostagar, where King Kaelin's armies and a host of wardens gathered, ready to destroy the Darkspawn. But valor turned to despair as Loghain betrayed his king. Kaelin's forces were slaughtered, and the south was lost. The hero, now a full-fledged Grey Warden, survived with the aid of Flemeth, the mysterious witch of the wilds. Joined by Flemeth's daughter, Morrigan, and a Grey Warden named Alistair, the hero set out to build an army strong enough to abolish the Blight. With the traitorous Loghain now seated on Ferelden's throne, the Warden sought help from the influential Arl Eamon of Redcliffe. However, they arrived in Redcliffe to find the town under siege. As each night, undead rose in waves and assailed the battered village. With the hero's help, the people of Redcliffe stood fast against the undead horde. The Wardens reached Arl Eamon's castle only to find the Arl lying at the edge of death, and his court fallen into madness. To save his father's life, Eamon's young son, Connor, had made a deal with a demon, and quickly fallen victim to its possession. The hero intervened, freeing Connor from possession, and breaking the demon's hold over Redcliffe. But deals with demons are never straightforward. The demon agreed only to save Eamon's life, not restore him to health. Arl Eamon needed a miracle to recover. The hero located an urn containing the sacred ashes of Andraste, which were said to cure any ailment. The urn was protected by ancient traps, tests of will, and a dragon-worshipping cult that wanted to twist the urn's power to its own ends. The urn remained pure, but mysteriously disappeared after the Wardens departed. Only the temple dedicated to it still stands. With a pinch of the ashes, the hero restored the Arl to health. Informed of Loghain's treachery, Eamon swore his political and military support. The circles of Magi are bound by oath to aid the Grey Wardens in times of blight. However, Lake Calenhad's tower could offer little help. One of its mages, Uldred, had become possessed by a pride demon and was twisting other circle mages into abominations. The hero fought to the top of the tower and defeated Uldred, saving the remaining mages. Grateful for their lives, the mages joined the Warden's army. The allies gained at the circle were not the only soldiers to join the Warden's forces, however. Dalish elves don't usually make alliances, but even deep hatred can be set aside in the face of oblivion. An ancient curse was destroying Ferelden's largest Dalish clans, turning the elves into werewolves. Zathrian, the clan's keeper, claimed that the cure required the heart of the great wolf, Witherfang. Years before, Zathrian himself had afflicted a group of humans with the curse that now ravaged his clan. As long as he lived, the curse endured. The hero eliminated the werewolves and forged an alliance with the Dalish, who immediately joined the Warden's army. Blights may happen hundreds of years apart, but the dwarves who live below the surface of Thedas fight Darkspawn every day. No one is better schooled in battling Darkspawn than the warriors of Orzammar, except perhaps their allies of old, the Grey Wardens. The hero arrived in Orzammar in the wake of King Endrin's death to find political factions fighting for control of the dwarven capital. Only the vote of a venerated paragon could break the deadlock to elect a ruler, and order the dwarves to honor their Grey Warden treaty and join the battle against the new blight. The hero set off to find a paragon named Branka, who had disappeared into the Deep Roads in search of a legendary artifact, the Anvil of the Void, created by the renowned smith Caridin to forge mighty war golems. The hero helped Caridin destroy the Anvil of the Void, along with the dark secrets that could trap a living soul inside a mechanical construct. The hero emerged from the Deep Roads with a master-forged crown to bestow the Paragon's favor upon whichever rival candidate would be crowned king. Balin, the youngest son of King Endrin who was suspected of foul play, or Haramont, the aging traditionalist backed by the Dwarven Assembly. Balin followed his father to the throne. He leads with a ruthless but progressive hand, seeking to re-establish ties to the surface kingdoms. With Dwarden's strength now bolstering the Warden's army, the hero had to deal with Loghain, so Ferelden could stand unified against the Darkspawn, before the Blight swallowed the world. The kingdom of Ferelden stood divided. While some nobles supported Loghain's regency, others condemned his inaction against the Darkspawn. Civil war brewed, and Arl Eamon called a landsmeet in hopes of curtailing the conflict and removing Loghain from the throne. Alistair ended Loghain's life in the name of justice for the Wardens who died at Ostagar. As the Wardens' united army massed in Redcliffe, the Darkspawn overran Denerim, laying siege to Ferelden's capital city. The hero's army fought valiantly through Denerim and broke the Darkspawn's siege. On Fort Dracon's highest tower, the hero's strongest allies fought alongside the Warden in a final heroic battle against the massive Archdemon. The Archdemon was killed without the sacrifice of a Grey Warden's life. With no Archdemon to lead them, the Darkspawn scattered. Most fled underground, still teeming in number and always seeking a new Archdemon to awaken. The shattered kingdom of Ferelden embarked on a long journey to recovery. In the Blight's aftermath, strong leadership was crucial. Alistair, half-brother to King Cailan, became Ferelden's new king, and the line of rulers who descended from Calenhad the Great remained unbroken. Ferelden still stands, as obstinate and resolute as the Dog Lords ever are, but the events of the Fifth Blight loom over it as the nation rebuilds. For people across Thedas, legends of the hero of Ferelden remain the nation's brightest beacons of hope during its darkest times. It all began in Kirkwall, the fall of Knight Commander Meredith, the Kunari Uprising, and of course, the Chantry's destruction and the onset of Mage Rebellion. One person always stood amidst the swirling chaos: Hawk, the champion of Kirkwall. The Hawk family fled Lothering, refugees from the Blight. Leandra, mother of the champion, and siblings Bethany and Carver hoped to find refuge at her family's estate in Kirkwall, far to the north. As a mage with a family legacy of magic on both sides, Hawk naturally became involved in the events that ultimately led to the Mage Rebellion. The Hawks escaped the Blight with the help of Aveline Valenne, a warrior and family friend. It's said that the family was also aided by Flemeth, the notorious Witch of the Wilds. Hawk's sister Bethany never reached the Free Marches. She was killed by Darkspawn while defending her family. The family's first years in Kirkwall were difficult. Leandra's brother Gamlin had lost the family fortune. The Hawks lived in poverty, forced to indenture themselves in return for entrance to the city. To pay off the debt, Hawk was forced to work for a gang of smugglers. All the while, Hawk and Carver did their best to hide Hawk's magic from the Templars. Opportunity eventually struck in the form of a dwarf named Varric Tethras, who was planning an expedition to the Deep Roads. It was a long shot, but with gold gained from the expedition, Hawk could free the family from its criminal creditors and further Templar scrutiny. Hawk met a rogue Grey Warden named Anders, who possessed detailed maps of the deep roads. These maps were crucial to the expedition's success. Once Hawk obtained them, everything else fell quickly into place. Carver joined Hawk on the expedition. The siblings found ancient dwarven treasure and a statuette formed from a strange red lyrium. Carver fell victim to the blight that suffuses the deep roads, but Anders led him to a group of Grey Wardens who were able to save his life. The gold Hawk recovered from the deep roads brought back Leandra's stately childhood home in Hightown. The Hawks had barely settled into their new home when Leandra was murdered. A deeply sinister and twisted killing. Hawk hunted down Quentin, the blood mage responsible, but could not prevent Leandra's death. Leandra's tragic death was part of a critical problem facing Kirkwall. Rising tension between the city's mages, who felt increasingly oppressed, and Templars, who grew increasingly suspicious of their activities. Adding to the strain, a large contingent of Qunari had also established themselves in Kirkwall, much to the growing discomfort of the city's rulers. After their dreadnought was shipwrecked many years before, a group of stranded Qunari were allowed to remain in a cordoned-off area in Lowtown. As time passed, the Qunari made no effort to return home, and offered no explanation about why they remained. Tensions rose to a breaking point. Revered Mother Patrice, convinced the Qunari were a threat to the Chantry's faith, incited violence between the Qunari and the Kirkwall populace. Hawk knew that Patrice would bring about unnecessary conflict. Though the champion tried to stop her, Patrice orchestrated the murder of Seamus Dumar, a Viscount's son and a recent convert to the Qun. When her crime was discovered, a Qunari assassin killed her. After Seamus was murdered, the Arishok of the Qunari group lost patience with the humans of Kirkwall. They would now submit to the Qun or die. The Qunari struck hard and fast. They took the palace in Hightown and beheaded the Viscount to immediately quash any resistance. Aided by Knight Commander Meredith and First Enchanter Orsino, Hawk reached the palace and stood toe-to-toe with the fearsome Qunari leader. Hawk fought the Qunari leader. The fierce battle resulted in the Arishok's death and the liberation of Kirkwall from its brief occupation. The Qunari quickly withdrew from the city entirely. Hawk saved Kirkwall and earned the grudging respect of the city's Templars, mages, and nobility, along with the title that history remembers, the Champion of Kirkwall. Kirkwall's problems were still not over, however. After Viscount Dumar's death, Knight Commander Meredith took power and blocked all attempts to appoint a new Viscount. Under Meredith's command, the Templars tightened their grip on the mages, planning to suppress what Meredith saw as a growing rebellion. Anders, who spent years fighting for justice and freedom for his fellow mages, saw that the time for negotiation was past. He destroyed Kirkwall's chantry, killing hundreds, including Grand Cleric Elthina. This single act began a rebellion that spread from circle to circle, until all circles of Magi had risen up in defiance against chantry rule. Though Anders had done the unforgivable, something stayed the champion's hand. Anders survived the day, although many others did not. Fighting spread swiftly through the city. Some mages rebelled openly, many of them succumbing to possession. Templars turned their swords on mages who rebelled and on those who did not. As First Enchanter Orsino refused to bend to the Templars, Knight Commander Meredith demanded that every mage in Kirkwall be put to the sword. Hawk saved many mages from Templar blades, keeping them from succumbing to possession or the temptations of blood magic. In the end, however, Hawk was forced to strike down Orsino, who had betrayed his own values by resorting to blood magic himself. The battle proved one thing: Knight Commander Meredith had gone mad. Hawk saw the truth of it when Meredith unsheathed her sword, and the red lyrium idol from the deep roads was embedded within it. The blade fueled her hatred and paranoia, as it had for months. After a horrific battle, the red lyrium of the Knight Commander's sword consumed her as she died. Meredith became a statue, her face a frozen mask of horror. Little is known of the champion since that final battle. However, Hawk's story lives on in legend and song. Memories of the indelible changes the champion of Kirkwall brought to the face of Thedas. The Mage Rebellion in Kirkwall was felt throughout Thedas, the news spreading like wildfire. The Templars clamped down in response, but each new restriction only made things worse. Led by Grand Enchanter Fiona, the mages voted for independence. The Circle of Magi would govern itself, without the Chantry and especially without the Templars. The result was cataclysmic. 2 circles were destroyed. Those within killed to the last mage, before the rest fled into the wilderness. Perhaps the mighty Empire of Orlais could have intervened in the war before it began, but that was not to be. Grand Duke Espard began a deadly civil war against Empress Celine, vying for the Orlesian throne. The mages were offered safe haven in neighboring Ferelden, but the Templars followed, and so their battle spread across all of Thedas. As head of the Chantry, Divine Justinia ordered the Templars to stand down. They refused, declaring their own independence. Thus, the war began in earnest. Templars hunting mages, mages fighting Templars. Their clashes wreaked untold destruction, and all sense of order was falling to pieces. Divine Justinia made one final desperate bid to end the war. She approached the leaders of both sides and convinced them to come to a conclave held on neutral ground. With the Chantry to mediate, mages and Templars will talk for the first time since this all began. It is our last, and perhaps our only, chance for peace.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Emma, and we're finally playing Dragon Age Inquisition. So, this has been a journey a long time coming. I actually started out the series with Inquisition not knowing that there were 2 previous games in the franchise. And so we have gone full circle, and now I can replay Inquisition with all of the lore and the knowledge and the familiarity with the characters that have made up the 2 previous offerings. So, world state's loaded in. We have got the intro from the tapestry that you just saw, and here's a quick look at my mods that I'll be using. I try not to do too many because I don't want things breaking. I would really prefer that not be the case. So, without further ado, let's create a character. Alright, I am, as you can tell, using my Xbox controller to play. We all know what I'm going to play. For those of you that are new, I am super pro elf. I am super pro mage. I am 100% romancing Solus. And we are going to play all the DLC, so don't worry about that. Okay, so of course we're going to play a Dalish elf, because we don't actually get the option to play a city elf in this one. So I played Origins as an archer. I played a mage in 2, and I'm going to go back to being an archer. I'm not super into melee, so the other offerings are just really not my jam. This is just my playstyle. And I can't heal. I really enjoy healing in the other 2 games, and we don't have the option in Inquisition. So we're going to be an archer. And I don't mind playing it normal. Let's do normal. Enslaved long ago by humans, most elves still live as second-class citizens within human cities. Elves who reject this life are known as the Dalish, nomadic wanderers who strive to keep the ancient elven religion and traditions alive. You were raised in the wilderness to be a hunter, relied upon by the Lavellan clan for food and protection. The clan wandered the northern free marches and had little need to interact with humans, until the clan's keeper sent you to the Chantry's conclave as a spy. What happened there, she said, would impact not only the Dalish, but indeed all elves. She could not have known how right she was. Yes. Let's import my save. Okay, good. We've got our custom world state. So here's one of the first things that I got. I got her a hairstyle. I usually use lace hardings like updo, but I wanted something a little unique and a little prettier. And I figured that a Dalish girl would absolutely keep her hair up and out of the way. So we have something super pretty. You can customize all these other heads, and they're all pretty wonderful. Let's see. Because I don't use the sliders as like, we'll just, we'll start with the first one. Oh no, did I click the wrong thing already? Customize. Sorry, I've been playing Breath of the Wild and fucks me up every time. The controllers are very different. So let's see. Oh no, these poor faces. Her jaw is so strong. But I like the long face better and the ears. We'll fix that. So we'll take this for now. Oh my goodness. I like the way that they didn't take those greens and blues and whatnot that they had in 2 as complexions. Oh, that's very pretty. Is that freckles? It is. Can I get closer to her? No, that's it. I'm sad that nobody lets me like get super in her. Oh, these are also very pretty. I'm a sucker for freckles. Okay, so there was another freckle one, right? So that one's more like on, oh, it's even on her neck. Okay, so we've got that one that's like on the side of the face and neck. And when there was the other one that was more evenly dispersed. Oh, this is also on the neck. This is just more, almost a full face of freckles with ruddier cheeks. And is that one also on the neck? It looks like it's the same one. Maybe? That one does not look like she has the freckles on her forehead that the other one does. See how that one's got more freckles? We'll just do this one because it's lots of freckles and it's very cute. Okay. So I always play redheads, and then usually I'll switch over and... okay, so I get stuck between the white hair and red hair, right? We're going to do red hair this time around. So I'm going to go with some soft green eyes. I think we did Mahariel with white hair. I don't want them like too unbelievably like vibrant. Those are kind of like super pretty though. Just getting a lay of the land. These eyes are so pretty. I think this is a mod. This is one of my mods. Let's do those pretty like greeny gray eyes. So we've got our hair where we want it. Let's do color. Ugh, she'd be so pretty with white hair. Even with dark hair, look how pretty. Because her eyes are very fair. Oh, but okay, so everything looks pretty on her. I think we'll just decide that. Where's my red? Oh, is this just not nearly as red as I remember? Is that it? Is this red? I can't really tell. I kind of would rather go gray. I feel like white is so like... This is kind of like a platinum-y. But we did white with Mahario. And I don't want gray to make her look like an old lady. I'm sorry for those of you that was like, yeah, it's the first episode of Inquisition out. And now I'm just gonna take 3 hours to make a character. But the gray is so pretty. I'm such a huge fan of silver hair. Like IRL too. The black is really nice. Let's do that one. I like it.
How much is this going to cost me exactly? You leave me no choice.
What? That's Cassandra. Get out. This is our Inquisitor.
How much is this going to cost me exactly?
What?
Everything you've heard? Completely true.
No. What?
I just hope I can help.
Okay, that's Lavellan. I don't know what that other crap was. Okay, so we've got that. Let's fix. I like big fucking ears, right? But I do want them flat against her head. I don't need them that big, though. So what does that do? That puts them out? And what does this do? I don't want them to be like saucers, but I do want them to be long. I like long and thin ears. So they were like right there previously, right? It was like up here. Because they looked pretty good before I fucked with them. That looks good to me. Oh, I'm afraid to fuck with these again. So the key for making good faces is to have like where her ear starts line up with her eyes. So it's already pretty good where it is. I don't think I need to mess with that. Earlobe size? It looks pretty good to me. Actually, that does look a little better. So how little can I make this? Oh, I kind of like it without the lobe, but then she can't have earrings. But now she can get gauges. We'll make it like that. Oh, that's pulling her cheekbones down. More prominent, less oh, that looks awful. So let's shift him down just a little. There we go. Because we want her to have high cheekbones, but we don't want her to look ridiculous. What does it do if we pull him down some? I kind of liked it where I had it. Cheek shape. We don't want her to look gone. We don't want her to look too full. So they did a good job with these faces as far as I can tell. I don't know what this does, though. Oh, it makes them more round. That's good, right? So can we change the size of, like... I'll probably pull her mouth down a little bit because her chin's kind of strong. What is this doing? Oh, is this her brow? And it was down there. We want a reasonable brow. What does this do? That shifts her eyes. Her eyes looked really good where they were. Actually, let's like... Does that affect? Okay, good. I think she looks just fine as is. Forehead. So it's right in the middle right now. Oh no, we don't want bulbous heads. It looks pretty good to me. So can we make it larger? Oh no, that makes it more concave. Oh no, I did it wrong, but it's okay. It was like right in the middle. Yeah, she looks just fine. She looks so cute already. Okay. Oh, this is what I want. I wanted it to be this close. Look how nice those eyebrows are. I did do an eyebrow modifier. And her lashes. Lashes look really nice. Look at those beautiful freckles. So we have the first eye shape. Those look really close to me. I kind of like the first one. I think I'm just maybe kind of used to her face, the way that it looks already. So, oh, we don't want her to look like an alien. So this is where it was. We can make them just a teensy bit. I don't like them that big. There we go. I want her to look realistic. I think her eye position is pretty okay. It might go down just a little. Oh, that's the wrong way. But now I need to like zoom out and look at her face. She has a very nice profile. I really need to move her mouth down. So let's zoom back in. I love really huge, thick brows. But that was the third one. Looks really nice too. These are good brows. The ones in the game are pretty like, oof. Yeah, I think these are the ones that are actually in the game. And it's like, why? Bioware, why? I think I like the ones that we had. I think I've made the mistake of getting too accustomed to her face already. Her eyebrow position looks just fine to me. Her eyelash style. Her eyelash looks just fine. Her eye... I didn't click anything though. Shit. Do we need to go back? There. Okay, so that's something that's preset in a mod or something. So we can't touch that anymore. Let's fix her nose. It's a pretty nice nose. So we've got the first one. No. That looks more like the L's in 2. That's a nice nose. So the very last one, the very first one. So the only real difference is that one looks a little smaller and turned up. And that one's a little bit more straight. So if I zoomed out, it just makes her look a little older. I'll keep that one. So the only thing I would probably fix is her nostril size. I'm gonna zoom in again. It's a little too much because they're just very like out. So let's see what all is affected. Does that look better? Maybe? I don't want to break her nose. Her nose tip is just fine. Her nose tip size is just fine. I kind of like the way her nose is bridged, so I'm not going to worry about that. Nose position is fine. I just need to pull her lips down or chin a little bit. Mouth and jaw. So here we go. Let's zoom in again. She has really nice lips. So that's the second option. Oh no, the teeth like at all time. So this one looks like she's kind of smiling a little bit more. Okay, so I like the one we had. I don't want to mess with the width. I do want to mess with the position. So, oh, it's inverted. I want to go down just a little. So let's pull back. I feel like when we make characters, we make them like ourselves a little bit. You know? Like, because my face is very long, and so it's easier for me to create a character that also has a long face. But my forehead is quite a bit bigger than hers. I don't know if I like it, though. Maybe I put her mouth back up and take her chin up just a little bit. So let's put it back. And then the thickness is fine. Where's her chin? That's better. Chin shape? I don't really know what that does. Oh, that's what that does. So it was like right here next to her cheek is where we had it. Actually, just, there we go. That's resets. So what does that do? Oh, no. She has a very square jaw. Well, on the sides, kind of. How do I make her face more heart-shaped? Jaw size? So it's down there. What is that? Oh. She had a very strong jaw. So let's put it kind of in the middle. There we go. So that way her face doesn't have such a strong jawline. And that also kind of fixes the chin issue that I was having. I kind of want to pull her eyes and eyebrows down just a teensy bit. Maybe? I think I'm just used to my huge forehead. So let's fix her tattoos. So before we get into this, I did want to go ahead and give some background for the character that I've been like thinking about. So what I want to do for her is weave in a bit of the Masked Empire. As most of you know, I finished reading it not too terribly long ago, and I was taken by and furious with the contents of the book at the same time. I love Briala, and I love Falassin. So in honor of Falassin, we are going to have Mythal's Valisleen, because Patrick Weeks said that that was a Valisleen that Falassin likely had. But why am I going to weave that into my character? So, as you guys know, well, for those of you who have read The Masked Empire, there is a elven mage who's involved with the party towards the end of the novel named Miris. And when they get to where they need to go, basically the thought was she's going back to find another clan to join. That's kind of where the book leaves her. So my headcanon for this playthrough is that my Lavellan is going to run into Miris. And I'm kind of casting that in the light that Miris is going to join Clan Lavellan. And so she's going to grow up with tales of Falassin, of Briala, of the Alluvians. And so she is going to be not only much more amenable to going and interacting with people at the Conclave, I feel like, because there's this sort of romanticized perspective on that, kind of viewing all those tales that Miris had told through rose-colored glasses, that she wants to kind of venture outside of her clan, and so that predisposes her to be more adventurous. So that's how I'm weaving Mythal's Valisleen into this. So we have a character who knows Briala. So when we get to the Winter Palace, knows of Briala, I should say. She can side with her more, and I can weave more of my knowledge of the Masked Empire into the game. Because, in this headcanon, Miris joins Clan Lavellan, tells what she knows, and so that allows my character to know a lot of these things. I've been thinking about this. I care about that shit. So I don't want her to have any scars, but I do need to fix her tattoo. So that's Gillenane, if I'm not mistaken. We need Mythal. I thought Mythal was at the top, but I am mistaken. Here we go. So this section, this is the one I usually take. I usually just take under the eyes. So and this has the chin included. And the lip. I like across the brow, but I think I am going to make it very delicate. But that just kind of makes it look like veins. Maybe I need to change the color. But I kind of like the color. I feel like she would be very proud of it and would have it in a dark color. So this is wonk. So let's get it there. No, I want to, aha. I want it to be dark. Not too dark, but kind of bluey gray like her hair. How does that look? Okay, so now that we have the color we want, maybe we can look at these other designs and see. Because I'm kind of stuck between that one and this one. Like getting her chin tattooed is so Dalish. I usually try to go minimalistic with tattoos, but I feel like she is super proud of her people, and so would get a very visible tattoo. Let's do it. Let's give her a big visible tattoo. All right. So she already has some really nice makeup on. I don't really think I want to fuck with it. Knowing me, I'm just gonna mess it up. I don't want to deal with a bunch of these because I'm worried about the mods. Let's do lip color. Can I at least play with that? That looks like I really don't want to play with it because it's black. It's probably a mod. Don't want to touch. Can we at least adjust the lip shine? So she has very matte lips. To very glossy. Can I zoom in again? Yeah. Is it just in that middle section? No. Look how beautiful her freckles are. I'm happy with this. I'm really happy with this. All right. Look how pretty she is. You can definitely tell that. I think this is one of my modded complexions, which makes sense because I love freckles. I definitely did get some freckle ones because you got this like cut off at her neck. All right, so let's accept changes. Now we have to name her. So normally what I do is model my characters in video games after my RP characters, predominantly from World of Warcraft and D&D, because those are universes that I RP in for the most part. But I kind of want to come up with a new name for her, because the problem is if I use like, I think I used Emalynde already. We can just use Emalynde again. It doesn't have to be the same character. I think because she goes by Lavellan anyways, or Lavellan. You hear it both ways in the game if I remember. I'm just gonna do I need to type this? I do. So I'm gonna do my name, not have it aligned with the character that represents that name, just so we can get moving. Really excited for this. This is probably my favorite game of all time. Alright guys, I'm going to cut it here. I hope that you had a great time watching me agonize over the prettiest stuff I could possibly make, and enjoyed listening to the lore backing I have for her as a character to kind of give you a feel of how I'm going to play, who she is as a person, and hopefully that'll help you enjoy this as much as I'm going to. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And We'll see you next time.